Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it's Beaky with the Untitled Game Show, back once again with another Beaky Talks. And let's talk about E3 2016 and how it might actually signal one of the biggest changes for the video game industry that we as gamers don't actually focus on: console marketing. Now let me go ahead and explain. As gamers, we try to focus on the specs, the games that are coming out, but sometimes we don't actually sit back for a second and actually look like, how is Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo actually trying to go ahead and market these systems to us? How are they actually delivering this information? What are they focused on, and why are they telling us the information now compared not to tell us later or beforehand? Well, that's what I want to talk about today, because E3 2016, something really special happened. Leaks. There has never been so many leaks at the E3 that I've ever seen. In my over 19 years of gaming, I've never seen this many video game leaks for E3 2016 conferences. And with that, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all have to adjust their strategies on the way that they market these systems to us. And they actually all took three different approaches. And that's what I'm going to talk about here. The three different approaches and which one is the right approach. That's where you guys are going to have to come in. We are going to get this information shoved in our face. They're going to try to twist our minds to get us to buy these systems, to get hyped for these systems. And sometimes we need to look at the way that they're delivering the information to us to really see what they're really trying to say and which way is the right way that they should be sharing this information with us, and if we should be respecting the way that they're treating us as customers, because this marketing information is going towards us. So let's begin. So we're going to start off with Microsoft. Now, the reason I'm starting with Microsoft because I think Microsoft's playbook was very simple. All the PlayStation Neo leaks came out. Like, they was out for months. And Microsoft knew that Sony was working on PlayStation Neo, and the rumors are that they were going to show it at E3 and that it was going to come out later this year to be a more powerful version for helping out with the PlayStation VR, right? So, Microsoft was hearing all this. They were already working on the Xbox One Scorpio, which actually did get leaked out early as well, but there wasn't a lot of information when that did get leaked out. So Microsoft said, you know what, at E3, we're just going to go ahead and announce the Xbox One Scorpio. We're going to say it's going to be powerful. We're going to have Todd Howard on the screen, talk about VR and how the Xbox One Scorpio can make VR even better. Say that it has all these teraflops, showcase just the motherboard with the chips. They don't show any actual hardware in the sense of the box itself, the new controller, or whatever might come with the Scorpio, or even games. They don't show anything for 100% fact what the Scorpio is going to play. Like, they may not even have games made yet, but what they showed us was developers talking about how they want to use the power and how the motherboard itself looked, which some people have diagnosed and said like how many RAM chips are on the board, but I want to let everybody know, remember, it's a year and a half out until the Scorpio comes out, so the last things could still change. And Microsoft thought this was sufficient enough to counteract whatever Sony was going to do at their E3 press conference for the Neo. Now, what I think what happened is right before E3, Sony said, we're not even going to show it at E3. They didn't, but they still spoke words about the Neo during and after E3 press conference. They had a lot of conversations about Neo, especially things that came to light. The thing that's really interesting, though, for Microsoft, this is where I don't understand their strategy. The Xbox One S. Why would you announce a new slim version at the same time you announce a more powerful system? I'm like, how are the general public, not the hardcore gamers, not you, not the person listening to my video who is more inclined to follow gaming news, you are more inclined to go out and buy an Xbox One S. You are more inclined to, if you own an Xbox One S, you would more likely go and sell it on eBay, trade it into GameStop, and get the new Xbox One S. It's just the way more hardcore gamers, the people who watch YouTube videos like mine think, because you guys are more intelligent about the industry, and if you want the new system, you would figure out a way to get it without having to spend the $399. For the general public, the people who are just picking up this news from the E3 press conference, from CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, who just see a little snippet like, oh, Microsoft announces 2 new consoles at E3 2016, and they're like, okay, one's going to be Xbox One S. It's a smaller Xbox One for $299 starting out. And then they said a year from now, they're going to have even a more powerful 4K console. How is that customer going to justify buying the Xbox One S if they know a more powerful console is on the way, or if they even already own an Xbox One? That's what I think is kind of a weird proposition. I'm like, I don't think enough people in the general open public might be going out and picking up Xbox One S's. I think they would probably go ahead and wait, if they already own Xbox, for the more powerful one. Just my opinion. This was just very weird to me because Microsoft didn't announce any games for the new system Scorpio as well. So that's Microsoft's strategy. Announced 2 systems. One's coming out in August. The other one's not coming out till next year, 2017 in the fall. We don't know exactly any games that's going to be running on it. We do know that has some type of VR compatibility. And I think everything Microsoft did for Scorpio was direct response to Sony. That's my personal opinion. I think that they saw all the leaks for the PlayStation Neo and they just said they wanted to go up on stage, even though they weren't ready to show the console itself or any games for and just let people know, let the hardcore gamers know that there's actually something coming for you in 2017. I think initially, if we didn't have all these leaks from Sony's PlayStation Neo, Microsoft would have went on stage and only announced the Xbox One Scorpio. And you guys will keep me bringing up the words leak because this is what makes everything so important, all right, guys? Because without these leaks, I don't think these press conferences would have went the way they went. I really don't. Now, let's move on to Sony. Now, Sony kind of just confused the shit out of me. There is so much information out there about the Xbox One Scorpio. The PlayStation 4 Neo. Sorry about that slip right there. There's so much information out there. So much stuff from developers. There's even information out there saying like, yo, there's even like development kits out there. Which development kits can change between like now and whenever the full releases come out of the consoles. So all the hardware-wise is not 100% set in stone yet. But my point is, they went on E3 and didn't announce anything about the Neo, which I said would be the specifically right move. I said that I think they should focus on their VR platform first and then focus on the Neo down the line. And I don't even think they focused on PlayStation VR enough at E3. I think that they have not convinced enough people to purchase the PlayStation VR outside in a larger area. The initial stock of the units of PlayStation VR will be sold out. The hardcore fans will pick it up, but the general public, they have not been convinced. That's my opinion here, guys. I don't think their E3 press conference convinced the people watching it from Fox, CBS, NBC, CNN, who gets a little snippet like, oh, Sony's jumping into VR. They're bringing out the cheapest VR headsets out there for $399. These are the games. I don't think they had the one highlight game. They had a bunch of... They just didn't show enough. I think they could have went more hard to get that information out there to the general public. And that's my thing with E3, guys. E3 is not only for us hardcore. It's to get the mass market to find out this information. I'm telling you this right now. The mass market does not follow video game news on a constant basis. I have friends who will play games every day, and they're just not into the news space as much as me, and they didn't even know about the PlayStation VR until E3. They just did not know about this, and they are gamers. They are gamers, but they're just not the people who follow the gaming news. They're people who get that extra information from the websites, news things that they watch, so friends talking about it. And those people need as much information as possible, or Sony needs to put as much information out there about the VR headset so that those people can go get hyped and be able to pick it up once they actually get back in stock. But we're going to get back over to the Neo. I just want to talk here. Remember this, guys. This is Beaky Talks. So Sony doesn't announce nothing about the Neo on stage. We don't know anything official from Sony in the terms of like what games will be compatible with it. And why I think this is insane now is because I was on the assumptions of my thing is that the Neo's coming out in 2017. I said that they should not put out the Neo in 2016 with the PlayStation, VR, because that's going to be 2 very expensive hardware bundles you're going to be trying to sell at the same time. I mean, like, they're going to be having the Neo, they're going to sell the Neo with some type of game bundled in, they're going to sell the PlayStation VR with the, the $500 bundle with the ones and the camera bundled in. Like, that's a lot of money. If you're spending $500 to get the full PlayStation VR, then you're going to get to spend at least the minimum amount you're going to spend from Sony's own mouth is $350 on the PlayStation Neo in the United States. There's no way it's going to be lower than that according to the headman Andrew House. So it's probably going to be up on the $400 to $500 price range for a Neo. I think trying to convince gamers to spend all that money and on top of that games as well in this fall season kind of sounded crazy. But now there's even more rumors saying that the Neo is really coming out this year. Like, it seems like it's really coming. And on top of that, there's even things out there like Sony is not guaranteed that they're coming to Gamescom. I'm pretty sure they probably will, but right now the words is that they haven't made any plans for Gamescom. I'm like, wait, you're at E3, you didn't announce the new system, and you're not sure you're going to be the next biggest gaming convention of the year? When are you going to actually announce this new system and show which games are compatible with it and what it really could do if it's releasing this fall? And yes, he's saying it's a new PlayStation 4, and we actually have the gist of it that's going to be like, Blu-ray playback, upscale, and whatever that's for the games. Fine, we got all that. But if you're coming out in the next 5 months, I would figure you would want to put a little bit more push, with games coming around the corner, and let people know a little bit more information. That's really different from Microsoft. Microsoft will announce stuff a year and a half out, and Sony will have stuff that might be coming out in a few months, and we kind of don't know jack squat. We don't have a slim PlayStation 4, so that's like it's a weird strategy. Sony's like holding everything to the last minute. Microsoft is like, yo, we working on stuff a year and a half ahead. Now, just to let you know, Sony is doing the same thing when it comes to games. They'll announce a game that won't be out for another 2 years. We know that. We definitely know that. I don't even think that the Final Fantasy VII Remake, what they're working with Sony or Square Enix, was going to even come out next year. I think that's a 2018 game. That's just my personal opinion there, guys. I think some of the games Sony showed at their conference won't be out in 2017. A lot of those, for a fact, are going to get delayed. You just feel it in your blood. That's just how these things go. Like, Sony will announce a game at their conference that won't come out for 3 years after, because it will have a scheduled release date for 2 years, but it's actually going to come out 3 years because of a delay, because they're going to need more time to work in the game. One thing I do respect Sony for, they usually allow their developers or their partners to delay games to make it better, which they should have fucking did for Street Fighter 5. I don't know why. I guess I'm hoping that was a Capcom decision, not to delay the game to get it really finished enough, because Street Fighter, man, Street Fighter, like, now they're coming out with more DLC stuff for Street Fighter. I'm like, fuck that. You should just give these gamers that stuff for free, and then maybe the year you start doing DLC. Just let the rest of this year free. But let's get back on track. So Sony's holding things close to home, giving gamers as little information as possible. I was surprised that we even got to think about the pricing. Microsoft is announcing stuff way ahead. And then last but not least, let's talk about Nintendo. Now, Nintendo has been the best at holding off on major leaks. Like, major leaks. And the reason I say that is, there's plenty of leaks out there for the Nintendo NX, but I don't know what the fuck the NX is. Like, I truthfully have no clue. Because at this point, even if some of the leaks were real, there are some leaks out there that are so counteract. There's like leaks out there that the NX was a stream box for the longest time. Now the GameStop CEO is saying like, no, the NX, like he's saying it's gonna have physical discs, and it's gonna be able to sell in retail, and people are gonna be able to retrade in their games. This is coming from GameStop, and I believe GameStop CEO. Reason for this is because this is about his money. He wants his stock price to go up. He wants to make money for his company. So when he found out 100% official, like, yes, people are going to be able to buy the physical base media for the NX and trade it back into us. This is awesome. The NX is now not a streaming device only. Now we know that for 100% fact. We know that for fact now. But there were so many rumors saying that it was a streaming device. And I was like, man, that's so confusing. So many fake rumors with the freaking controller stuff, which is just like insane. So whatever Nintendo's doing, if they're counteracting all the real rumors or fake rumors is working, at this point, I don't know what the NX is. But the point here is E3 2016 happened. This is the biggest video game show of the year for Nintendo because they don't go to Gamescom. They don't go to those events. Only thing else they could do is a Nintendo Direct, and I will tell you guys this right now. My friends who are gamers in this industry who don't follow the video game news as heavily like I do. Like I said, my friend who plays a PlayStation and he likes his games on there. He plays the MLB games. He plays the WWE games with his brothers. He does not know what a Nintendo Direct is. Like, I will straight up say that to you. And me and this dude played the GameCube, N64 like bastards. Like, we played everything. He didn't pick up the Wii, and he didn't pick up the Wii U because he didn't like the direction Nintendo was going. And now he does not even know what the freaking Nintendo Direct is. Not that because he doesn't care about Nintendo anymore because he still has the 3DS, but that's just not his area. But he does follow freaking E3. So if Nintendo was going to come out there and say anything about the NX, this is where my friend, who's like I said, is a gamer, but not following everything, but he looks at E3, would have been able to find about the NX coming out in 2017. That's where he would get that information and what it is. Now, Nintendo has a system coming out next year and early, and we have no confirmation of games coming to this new platform. And this is where I want to separate what Nintendo is doing here. This is what I'm talking about marketing here, guys. This is where it is. Nintendo has a system, new generation platform coming out in 2017. We do not know any first-party titles coming to this platform other than The Legend of Zelda. We know 2 confirmed third-party titles coming from Square and coming from Ubisoft. Those are the 2 we know for a fact that are making games for the NX. Other than that, this platform is coming out in less than a year, and we do not know games. We do not know hard drive size. We do not know what it looks like. We do not know pricing. Nintendo did not show at this biggest event of the year what the NX is, even with all the crazy weird leaks. It's just like mind-boggling to me. So either Nintendo just trusts us as consumers to just want anything they put out there that is just going to make so much buzz that whenever they do talk about the NX at every magazine, every TV show, the Foxes, the CBS, NBCs, the CNN, you know, all that stuff is going to pick up on Nintendo's new system and just get that information out there to the public. Because I know some people just don't believe me, but like just because I've worked in retail for video game stores, I was a manager of a store, I have so much fun. I know that there's just so many levels of gamers. There are people out there that only play games on their phones. There's people out there who pick up the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the 360, play those games, but just don't follow the news. And there's people like me who will just consume every little tidbit of information and analyze it to the damn point because I just love this industry. And this is just what it makes me think. I think in a way, all this is nuts because I think Nintendo is actually kind of screwing up here. I agree with them releasing the system next year, but I don't agree with them not talking about it so it's close. You are making a new generation platform. It's a whole new... Nintendo is not doing what Sony or Microsoft is doing right now. From what we're getting from these leaks and information that's put out there. It's not. They're not just putting out a Wii 2.5 because nobody wants a Wii 2.5. Can you guys agree with me in the comments? I hope nobody wants a Wii 2.5. That's definitely not what I want. Like that's not, I want to get away from the Wii U and the Wii. Just get away from that shit. My point here is Sony and Microsoft are saying no. Guys, don't worry. This is the same Xbox. This is the same PlayStation 4 that you already have. If you already have a system and you play in 1080p, you could keep your regular system. Don't worry, guys. We're not leaving anybody behind. Nintendo is going to be starting a whole new generation. That is it. It's a new generation for Nintendo. That is what's happening here. And I think new generations should be promoted a little bit earlier. And that's why I just think all this E3 stuff is just so weird. And that's why I do these Let's Talks. And that's why I need to get to the actual, my point, my question for you guys. What is the right way to market a console in this day and age with all these massive leaks at E3? Who's doing it right? Is any of them doing it right? Should he do it like Sony, where if you're going to have some type of system come out, you hold it to the last minute, close to release date for a system? I would love for most games to be like that, 6 months out, the Fallout style. You can see some gameplay, the game's going to come out. That works great for games. But for consoles, I always feel like a year lead up is what they need, especially if it's going to be a new generation, which is what I'm saying for Nintendo. I think Nintendo needs to put more effort because it's a new generation. That's what I'm saying for Nintendo specifically. Sony and Microsoft might get a little bit more leeway, and I know you guys might just be saying I'm fanboys of that. It's just a fact. They are not trying to sell a new generation to people. They're trying to sell the same shit people already bought. That's why so many gamers are okay keeping their regular Xbox Ones and PlayStation 4s without upgrading. And if you have Xbox One right now or PlayStation 4 and don't upgrade to the Neo or the Scorpio, that's fine. You're still going to be playing those great games as they come out for the next year and a half. That is perfectly okay. And many of my friends will do that. They won't upgrade. And that's fine. But people who have a Wii U, I don't see people holding on to the Wii U when the NX comes out. If the NX is actually a better system and Nintendo gives people the time it needs to know about this platform, then they will want to invest and get to that new system. I am basically done with my Wii U. My Xbox One is plugged in, my PS4 is plugged in, but my Wii U was sitting there waiting for my friend to give me my damn money because he bought it from me. Michael, if you're watching this, Shin the Air King, get my damn money, bro. I've got to actually call you now about that. Anyways, he got my gamepad and everything else. But point being, I want to see this video game industry like be great. I want to see these consoles actually be worth our time and our effort and our freaking attention because the way they market it to us. And right now I feel like Nintendo is making us feel like we can't do anything wrong. I think the Nintendo attitude right now to us as gamers is, well, we're Nintendo. We'll announce it when we want and doing a Nintendo Direct, and everybody's just going to buy the system just like they did for the Wii. I feel like Nintendo hasn't learned from the Wii U leading up to the NX release, the way that they're actually marketing. And I do mean this is marketing. By not saying anything about the NX at E3 2016 and only focus on Wii U Zelda, it is a marketing. It's part of their marketing. They tend to announce it later down the line, probably maybe in August, maybe in September. They're going to give a big reveal. And they think that's going to be enough to sell it, get people hyped enough to pre-order enough units for it to be the massive success that they need it to be. I think that's a risky move, Nintendo. I think you're holding really too close to home right now with Mario, Zelda, with the third-party publishers we know right now working on your system. It might not be enough. Sony is being very coy to the point that I'm actually scared that they may actually not support the Neo. This is something I didn't say before. I'm always very worried about Sony supporting their hardware. The Neo might come out and Sony might not support the higher end version of the Neo in the sense of specs of the Neo very much. They may not really encourage developers to do something with that extra power in the Neo in the 4K space, even if it's upscaled from 1080p or 1440p. I feel like they're just going to let developers do anything they want, and even their own internal developers, they're not going to give very specific mandates to use the extra power very well. Unlike Microsoft is going to be encouraging people to use the extra power, do something special with it. And I think why this is, I think Sony is so worried about killing their sales. And this is why I'm talking about the marketing. I think Sony is seriously knows that they need to put out a better system, but they're very worried about actually losing sales because they're doing so well. 40 plus million units sold worldwide. I would be worried too if putting out a new system could have people not want to buy my current console. Like, you understand? Sony's might be holding everything last minute, and that to me, I understand they don't want to lose sales, but that worries me because that makes me feel like, man, what if you don't support the Neo enough? I want you to actually do something with that power for the people who have it, like who plans to pick up a Neo. And you guys already heard my things about what the Neo needs to do to make me buy a Neo. If you guys have not seen my video on that, I have a video out where I'm explaining step by step what Sony needs to do to get me to buy a Neo. And from what I'm hearing, everything from hearing from the leaks, they're doing that. New controller, Blu-ray playback, and just watch my video about that. You can find it in my Let's Talk playlist or Beaky Talks playlist, whichever one you want to write it in. It's in there. I have a list by list of what the Neo needs to be to get me personally, guys. Remember, me buying it. Whatever makes you buy it, that's up to you. That's completely up to you. And Microsoft, I think Microsoft did the right thing by announcing the Scorpio due to all the leaks from the Neo, from the Neo coming out so early. They needed to put something forward to let the people know that they're working on something powerful, and that's good. I just wish they would have had a little bit more information to share with us at the time. Just my thing is with the general public with the Xbox One S, I don't understand how that's gonna work. I just don't understand how you're gonna sell the system you're trying to sell right now for 500 gigabytes for the $299 when on stage you announced the 2 terabytes. Got me confused telling my friends that you get 2 terabytes for $299, and I'm like, damn, that's a great value. Now that we found out that's not actually the truth, and that we even found out later on that the 2 terabyte version is a limited first, release one, meaning that if you don't pick up the 2 terabyte version on release, Microsoft is not going to be doing that again. According to them, this is according to the information out right now. Things could change. If they see that everybody's buying the 2 terabyte one, they could start doing it again. But I'm like, man, you were talking so hype about this 2 terabyte and E3. Like, people see that, they expect. It's just like, you put this information out there, you use it as your marketing, but when you find out the exact details, you're like, that makes me feel bad. And right now, I don't feel very good about the way Sony's marketing their upcoming Neo. I don't feel very good about the way Nintendo's marketing the NX. And I feel very lacking in the way that Microsoft is marketing the Scorpio. I'm lacking information. So I can't even say it's bad. It's just I want to know more. And with this industry, with having all the massive leaks it keeps on having, like I've said before, man, let's end out the video. What is the right way to market a console in this day and age of massive leaks? This has been Beaky here with the Untitled Game Show. Back once again with another Beaky Talks. Leave your own comments in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.